Hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon and
Good afternoon.
welcome everyone. Thank you for joining with us for today's webinar. I am Anita Krishna, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, Sri Sabarisha College. Our college is India's first arts and science college under tribal management and is one of the leading higher education providers under Mahatma Gandhi University, with Department of English, Commerce and Computer Science, then PG Department of Social Work. In our panel, we are enriched with our chief speaker, Mr. Jaydev Anand, Registrar, CEDIT, who has a proven personality in various zones as manager in South Indian Bank, Deputy Director, Rubber Board, and presently Registrar, CEDIT, Trivandrum. Then our beloved principal, Mr. V.G. Harish Kumar sir, our faculties, Mrs. Fibina B.S., Marilyn Joy, and our students, then teachers and professionals and students from various institutions. On behalf of our department, college, it is my privilege to welcome all of you to this webinar. Today we are presenting national webinar on the topic Walking Around Data Stores for the last 3 decades. Let me invite our beloved Principal V.G. Harish Kumar sir for an introductory speech. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everybody. Respected resource person who is leading a number of development projects of CEDIT, Kerala State, respected sir, and other important personalities who are attending this national webinar. All of you, welcome to Sri Sabarisha College, Kerala. As our HOD mentioned, Sri Sabarisha College is very happy today because our computer application department is organizing a very important webinar on today by organizing several participants from all over India. Sri Sabarisha College is considered as India's first aided arts and science college run by tribal management, Malay area tribal community. It's a history in India that the tribal people established a higher educational institution, and the institution is implementing higher education programs and also community extension activities in tribal settlement colonies. Sri Sabarisha College Computer Application Department is organizing a number of webinar series among contemporary computer application objects. So today, we got a golden opportunity to associate with the Honorable Registrar of CEDIT, Thiruvananthapuram. So we think it's a history of Sri Sabarisha College because sir is associating with us for leading a national webinar. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Sri Sabarisha College family. And all of you, welcome to this auspicious learning program organized by Computer Application Department of Sri Sabarisha College, Kerala. All of you, best wishes.
Thank you, sir. Wishing you all a fruitful session. Before starting the session, requesting all participants to mute your microphone to avoid unwanted noises. Then we are expecting an interactive session, so note down your queries for the question and answer session. Now I invite our respected Chief Resource Person, Mr. Jaydev Anand. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
Am I
audible.
audible? Hello.
Audible. Yeah, audible.
Okay. Thank you, respected principal and faculty members and all members and friends who have joined this program. As I told, as it was mentioned, I have been working in IT related industries for the last 30 years. So starting from 90s and to the 2020. So what I would like to cover is various data storage mechanisms, data processing technologies, which we have come through over these 3 decades. I think as students of IT and faculty members or who are interested in the various developments in IT sector, so that will be an advantage to know what happened and what is happening now. So let me go through some deliberations. So this is not a professional discussion. So whatever my experience I will share, whatever happening around the IT industry I will share. And towards the end, I think we will also discuss the various career possibilities of IT students and IT professionals. Okay, I think that will be fine. Is this presentation viewable? Hello, is the presentation viewable to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is the first screen visible? It is data measurement units. Is it visible, I hope?
No, sir. It was the first session, walking around data stores.
How can we see this? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Second slide also. Okay.
Yes, sir. Second slide.
Okay. Well, so before going to the data storage, I will start with basic discussion on the data measurement units. So this is a necessity to understand the topic in a better way. This is simple. I think you all know this. So what is a bit? What is a byte? Then the kilobyte, the megabyte, gigabyte, and terabyte, petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte. So these are the maybe the storage related capacity requirements. So why I'm showing is, we know today maybe our storage systems, maybe we are aware of something like gigabits. Maybe our desktops, laptops, or the USB storage, whatever is available to us, that is in the gigabyte category. So, but time when this resource was limited to kilobytes, say 260, 256K was the 256 kilobytes was the memory capacity in 80s. So can you imagine how much data we could process with 256 KB of RAM? And today we are able to process with 4 GB or 8 GB of RAM. So this is basically an understanding how we have grown from 80 to 2020. But today it is not limited to the gigabyte category. It has gone to terabyte, it has gone to petabyte, it has gone to exabyte, and it is now standing at the zettabyte category if you take internet as a whole. And our storage requirements, maybe for an organization, what will be the storage requirements today? Is it of the order of gigabyte or terabyte or petabyte? So these kind of thoughts has to come. Maybe, we have the government providing a lot of services, maybe the birth certificate, death certificate, lot of file movement. In organization also, we have a lot of paper movement like invoices, agreements, contract, documents. So suppose we have to store the entire information relating to an organization. So how much space, storage space will be needed? Now coming to this slide, we see somewhere in 1775, the punch card mechanism was introduced. Subsequently, in 18th century, punch tape was introduced. And magnetic tape was introduced in 20th century, 1951. So till then, people were processing data manually or with mechanical systems. Only somewhere to 1950s, we started the electronic mode of data processing. And from 1951 to 1952, the tape drives came, which was magnetic drum kind of storage. Then we know the hard disk, what we call the hard disk. Again, a magnetic disk kind of storage has come, hard drive, somewhere in 1956. Again, in around 70s, we got something like floppy disk. Again, the capacity of a floppy disk was somewhere 1.4 megabytes MB. Then we came to the digital cassettes or digital tapes, which could support data up to 2 GB or 4 GB. Then in the 80s, we got something like laser discs, which are CD-ROMs or DVD-ROMs, which again, CD-ROM is around 600 MB. Coming to DVD-ROM, it is about 4 GB of data. Then the requirement of data storage as well as data processing increased during this period. So we had a faster, smaller systems which could process, which could store only very limited capacity of data. So the registers, the cache memory, the main memory. Then coming to the magnetic disk where we had a relatively large volume of data storage. Then the external storages like a tape, optical disk, that was not sufficient to store the entire data which contained in a magnetic disk. But still, we use them as a supporting device. So the trade-off was between the faster systems were of smaller data capacity and the bigger data capacity systems were slower in processing operation. So the trade-off again on the right side, you can see the capacity versus speed. So the starting from the semiconductor memory, the DRAM, then the flash memory, then came the cloud storage. So these are the growth areas as far as the hardware segment was concerned. Now coming to the growth pattern, you can see from 1956, the tape hard drives, so the hard drives were size of 2 refrigerators. But the storage was very limited, like 5 MB was the size. And 71, you have the floppy disk. 80, the world's first 1 GB hard drive was introduced. In 85, the first CD-ROM was introduced. In 96, the DVDs with 4.7 GB of data was introduced. In 2001, the USB flash drive with up to storage of 8 MB was introduced, but today it can support up to 128 GB. Then in 2006, the Amazon cloud computing, the concept was evolved, and where there is a service of the storage requirement was it was without limitation, you can say. The Amazon Elastic Computing Cloud, which helped to enhance the capacity of storage requirement for an enterprise beyond the limits. Cloud service now offer as much of off-site storage as far as the company needs. Now coming to the 2007, the first 1 terabyte hard disk was introduced. In 2011, 1.7 zettabytes of data created. So that is in 2011, it was enough to fill 57 32 GB iPads. So that was the data generated. In 2012, the data collection volume increased by 400%. It was a 4-fold increase. In 2013, again the cloud was growing, and cloud is estimated to contain more than 1 exabyte of data. In 2014, the companies can analyze petabytes of data, 24 drawer filing cabinets is over 13 years of HDTV. So the 13 years of HDTV content could be stored. In 2018, again, it is growing. The data on internet, 40 times larger than 2009. So in around 9 years, data on internet has grown 40 times. In 2020, so it is 1 zettabyte of data. So that is the calculation. It's a statistics collected from the net. So starting with the data processing history. So we had been so far talking about the hardware, the data storage capacity. Now the data processing history starts with somewhere in 1780s. We had something called mainframes and mini computers. So generally they were bulky systems. They were costly systems. The power consumption alarming compared to today. And they needed the specialist for operation and maintenance of the systems. The storage was limited to the central IT unit of the organization. The organization started a central unit where the data was brought, processed, and the output was given to the individual divisions, individual user divisions. So that means it was only a centralized facility. It was not available to the common users or the end users. So that was somewhere in 1780s. We know the storage was costly. The available storage was very limited. The speed was also limited. So when we developed computing solutions, the software, there was a limitation that we had to offer a solution or develop a program which uses the minimum number of variables, minimum number of computing, because the computing resource was very limited. Now coming to 80s, towards 80s, we were fortunate enough to have desktops and spreadsheets for computing. But when we said desktop, it was not like today's desktops. Today we have Windows or Linux with the graphic user interfaces. But in the 80s, it was limited to command-driven interfaces. So the command-driven, where the memory requirement was very less, the storage requirement was very less, the computational requirements, the processor requirement was very less. So we had to go for technology using command line processing. So there was maybe that time we had the data processing requirements, again, which was done using command-driven or menu-driven interfaces. So spreadsheets at that time, maybe somebody may be knowing that solutions like Lotus 123 or WordStar, etc. solutions were there for word processing and spreadsheet computation. So the advantage was that the computers came to personal computing level from the centralized level. So organizations could provide desktops, personal computing desktop to individual users. And user would be able to enter data, store data, and process data at their own convenience. But again, there was a limitation that it was not available to all the users in the organization. Again, maybe there was a specialized unit for data processing, like central EDP or electronic data processing units. And the organization again had to bring the data to this unit, process it, and distribute to the user departments. Now coming to the 80s, again towards 85 or end of the 1980s, the concepts changed from the DBMS to RDBMS and SQL. DBMS was just a storage of data. Whatever we could store there, we could retrieve there. But complex querying or largest scale of data processing operations was not possible with database management systems. At that time only, the relational database management system became popular. And it introduced a language called SQL, the structured query language. So the systems could be again, it was little costly. The RDBMS system was again costly. So the client server computing option came in the second. So earlier there was only the the server computing. Now we have something called client server computing with one client and another server. That is a two-tier data processing system solutions. Gradually, it has grown to a three-tier solution with a client level, server level, and a middle tier for data analysis or application level, we call it. So it has become a three-tier data processing system. Again, gradually, there came the web-based computing in 90s. So the three-tier again was shifted to the N-tier architecture. N-tier means there is a client system, there is a server system, and in between there can be any number of tiers. That could be an application tier, it could be a logic level, that could be a presentation level. So that kind of different intermediate introduced in between. Now the fourth level, again, we have various kind of database management system, the relational database management systems. But unfortunately, what happened, within the organizations, there were different departments like sales, production, marketing, or administration and finance, or inventory storage, or it could be marketing. So there are different departments were there. And each department started setting up their own information systems. And there were silos of information systems, and which maybe one department is going with one platform. As you know, it could be Windows. Another department may be having a different platform like Linux. Again, the database store in, even if using the same operating system, the database system for different departments could be different. So we can say it was a collection of heterogeneous systems which could not talk to each other. So the management had very little control on the system. And getting information combined, integrated to the management was a very tedious exercise. So at the time, something called online transaction processing, OLTP. So OLTP was existing, and OLTPs were having installations in different departments. Now, the concept of data warehousing was brought in, where the OLTP, online transaction systems, the individual systems available in various departments, that is a heterogeneous system, different operating systems, different databases, managed maybe different solutions. So this data could be brought to a single location and compiled or integrated for conducting analysis and feedback for the management. So that is called a data warehousing. And it was very useful for the businesses. So it was a common repository of data which could be queried, which could be processed using different solutions, different applications. So the ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading tools were there, which were used for accessing data to bring an OLAP, that is online analysis processing, online analytical processing, online analytical processing, where the online analysis was possible. And this data from the operational systems was brought to the decision support systems. And decision support systems cater to the need of the management. It helps to take a decision based on weighing different alternatives. weighing different possibilities. What is the risk associated with the different alternatives? So based on that, the management could take decisions. And this way, the users were able to execute rapid and complex analytical queries. So there is a data from the different clients or different installations are brought down to the data warehouse, and ETL, extract, transform, and load tools were used for analysis. Now coming to the next level, it was history 5. So we had something called virtual machines and cloud computing. So virtual machines, as you know, it is instead of a single machine, let's say maybe a single hardware unit. But on the hardware unit, we could create multiple virtual computing units. It will function as multiple machines. We can say within a server, we can have 5 or 6 or 10 up to different servers on the same physical hardware unit. So this has created, again, an ease for the users as well as the people who maintain the systems. So again, virtual machines, the only limitation was the level of computing or level of memory that the individual machine could support. So it could not go beyond that. At the time, the new concept called cloud computing was introduced. So cloud computing is basically, it's also called utility computing. You may be aware of that. So today, and all organizations are going from individual machines, most of them from mainframe or standalone mini computers, to cloud computing. So cloud computing is a very convenient method of utility. So the solution can be deployed onto a cloud system. That cloud system need not be inside the organization. So maybe organizations wish they can go for a private cloud, or there are cloud service providers where we can put the enterprise data. So it is use and pay model or a rental model. So that's called utility computing. It's like whatever resource we are using, we have to pay for that only. When we put an individual server or individual mini computer system, we have to set it up, we have to maintain it, we have to upgrade it, we have to go for annual maintenance. We should have people to maintain it. And when it becomes obsolete, we have to replace it with another system. So these are all involving different costs. And there is the availability concerned. So again, it may depend on the life of the system being used. But in cloud computing system, what we use is how much memory we need, how many processors we need. We make an assessment and place an order on the cloud service providers. The cloud service provider will provide the exact requirement, what kind of, how many CPUs are required, how many memory is required, how much storage is required. So you just specify these 3 things and you get the server. And the provisioning is very easy because tomorrow if you find that you need to go for a ground system, ground storage, it is very easy to grow. You can just ask that I want one more processor with this server, or I want this much more storage, or I want memory to be added to my machine. So I need one more machine on the cloud. So this is very scalable, very easy to scale. So this is what happening today. But of course, there are some organizations still maintaining their old technology like mainframes, computing, There are some organizations still using the server model, the mini computer terminal server model, because of their conversion with the applications. The applications are running fine. So why should I shift to another platform? So once that concern is over, once the lifetime of the application is over, probably they will also come down to the cloud computing model. The cloud computing model, again, it offers a variety of solutions. So one is the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure that will be given in the cloud model. So you pay for the infrastructure. So over the infrastructure, you can create the platform by deploying the operating system. Again, over the operating system, you can deploy the databases or application software or web solutions, whatever. So that is the basic level. And you just place an order, and from the next day, you start using the cloud service. That could be a software service, or it could be a platform, or it could be an infrastructure, or it could be a storage. Secondly, it is scalable. So today you have, say, 8 GB of server. From tomorrow you want to go for a 16 GB of server because of your improved applications or enhanced database data storage, or enhanced performance requirement, or enhanced user base. So there is a easy scalability. But the concerns with the cloud, as it was initially stored, was the security and privacy of the information. So once you are storing the information on a third-party cloud, so a public cloud, so whether the information is stored securely, whether they will use it for some other purpose, or whether during the usability, someone can siphon information, whether someone can access the information without authority, without username and password. So these kind of concerns were there at the initial stage of cloud computing. But these are addressed with the help of legal documents. Once a legal contract is entered into between the cloud service provider and the enterprise user, these kind of issues are taken care of. So it is the responsibility of the service provider to ensure the security, ensure the privacy of data, ensure that it is given only to the authentic people. Also, there can be a possibility that the data could be encrypted so that nobody else could be used. Again, there is a possibility that the data could be anonymized, even if someone gets the information, the originals of the data cannot be traced back. For example, say some health data of a particular person is stored in a cloud system. So maybe, if the health system of, say, millions of users in the state is given to someone else, that can be used for commercial purpose, can be used for unethical purposes, only illegal purposes, or it can be used for marketing purposes. It can be used as a business model, or it can be used for commercial purpose. So these issues are there. So in order to prevent this breach, so once we give the data, or if we give data to another party, there is something called anonymization, by which we can restrict the confidential information. Data will be given without minus this confidential information. So the confidential information will not be disclosed to the receiver. So this is possible when we conduct a survey or we go for statistics. There the vital information of individual is not needed, but only the statistical analyzed data is required. So these are the issues, and these are the solutions where we go for cloud computing kind of solutions. Coming again one step further, So we have enterprise data, we have cloud computing, we have business data. So basically, conventionally, the data was used for business computing. So that is called business intelligence. Business intelligence. It is for internal purpose of the business entity. So the online transaction processing system or online analytical processing system, these are all meant for the internal business users. Now, the largest concept of big data and artificial intelligence, which came much popular recently. So today we can hear and we can read whatever newspaper or internet or around us, what is happening is big data, the analysis of big data or talk of big data. Big data is deep learning. So these kind of technologies ruling the world today. Integrated and brought to a common platform for analysis. So big data is the raw input that need to be cleaned, it has to be structured, that has to be deduplicated, duplications have to be avoided. So that has to be integrated, then only it becomes useful. So once we have the big data concept, we are able to analyze and find hidden patterns. Suppose an organization has 100 years of data, put it to the data warehouse, and they do an analysis there. They can find out hidden patterns. What are the hidden patterns? Like it could be related to their sales. Which are the products being sold to a particular region, or which are the products of interest to a particular age category, which are the products of interest to a particular season. So which is the color of automobile that is chosen by most of the customers. So this kind of basic analysis, which is not directly available from the transaction data or analytical data. So this is called hidden data, which we can use for, which the organizations can use for better client dealing, or the on-time manufacturing, like agile manufacturing. And it can be used for giving custom-made or tailor-made solutions to the customers, or it can be used for addressing the requirements of individual customers. Because earlier the solutions was to make in large scale or manufacture in large scale. So once we manufacture in large scale, it is not possible to meet the custom requirement of each customer. So if you want to meet custom requirement of each customer, it is possible only after collecting the order from the particular customer. So it is called just-in-time manufacturing, only on-demand manufacturing. So this big data analysis help to provide services related services specifically to individuals or the users. So it helps to address customer issues, the customer preferences, to identify the customer preferences. So the artificial intelligence techniques is to mimic attributes of the human intelligence. So we have a data, we have built into the system, and based on inferences, there is something called an inference engine. So from the inference engine, we create outputs. Now, there is another concern. So far, we had been discussing various data processing systems, which could consider transaction processing or analytical processing. Now here, basically, they were SQL related. So it has to be structured. The data, these systems were using structured data, or the systems were analyzing structured data. But today, we know the structured data is very limited. The transaction data is very limited. Around us, we have the internet, we have various websites, data from the websites, we have data from the media, the printed media, we have data from the electronic media, we have data from the visual media like TV, we have the audio kind of media. So the different types of media each generate a different kind of data. And today the crisis on the social media. So more than any other printed or visual media, now the dependency is on social media like websites, the Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Telegram, this kind of media. A lot of transactions happening, a lot of deliberations happening. So a lot of data is flowing, data of images, data of video, data of audio. So once you post something on the social media, again, you get feedbacks, you get a sequence of responses to it. Each response can again go into replies. So that itself creates a lot of data. Now, how to analyze this kind of data? Because this is not structured data. This is called unstructured data. Now, the tools required to store and process unstructured data is the need of the hour. So there are now document databases where we can store information of unstructured nature. So you may be knowing that MongoDB or NoSQL kind of databases where we can store and process unstructured data. And on the right hand see artificial intelligence, the circles, the Venn diagram showing the circles, the artificial intelligence development relation between artificial intelligence development systems, data engineering infrastructure, data science driving business solutions decisions. And where we see the interface with artificial intelligence and data science is called machine learning. Is there something machine learning? So just like the human learning, the machines can learn from the data given to it. So this is useful maybe learning from the patterns like neural networks, technologies like neural networks, the maybe driverless vehicles. So these kind of experiments, the robotics, this kind of experiments, they use the machine learning requirement. For the artificial intelligence and data engineering, there is a software engineering interface between. And data science and data engineering building, it's a data wrangling exercise. So this is the current status of affairs. And hopefully I think we had a discussion on the various data structures and the data storage mechanisms over the few years. So I hope we'll come back to our meeting and continue. Hello.
Yes, sir. So, shall we move on to the question answer session?
Yes.
Yes. So, we are moving on to the question answer session. Kindly be interactive.
And more than the question answer session, I think you can express your views, your maybe for discussions. It can be have something like a discussion. more than a question answer. So if you have
Yes.
anything to say, maybe you can share with me also, because you may be also knowing something more than me. Maybe about some technologies or something related to this topic.
As we already said, we are expecting an interactive session. So feel free to express anyone.
Basically, I would also like to know whether the information given is useful to you, or because I think you are all graduation students, so maybe you have gone through your syllabus, your curriculum, which may be much more recent than what we had been learning. So learning is an exercise. Okay.
So now session. Meera, over to you.
Good afternoon, all. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Uh, Thank you, sir, for this meaningful class. It was very wonderful experience, and the section was very informative. And all the information that you have that you have shared was very clear and helpful. And also the whole idea about the data store and how the data is being stored and processed, and especially the data processing history are all very effective, and it was very clear for us. And I think all the things that you have shared uh, was very helpful for us for the future and all. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi. Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Sri Kumar.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Hi. Yeah. No, I want to just bring one point when you told about the security. See, there are enough rules around the world, and there are restrictions on accessing the data. Even with that, there are a lot of incidents we come across where data leakage, even just which includes hacking of Facebook accounts, which is very common nowadays. All these things are happening, even with all this. So, do you think whatever we put it in writing or make it as an agreement, is that a right solution, or is there anything else more than that which we may have to be thinking about to get it done? Maybe some research is happening in that line. Why? Because this is a kind of including the banking transactions, which is getting hacked, and your account details are hacked. Lot of every day in media we read all these kind of in news. So what do you think in that line?
yeah, okay. See, we have been going through various phases. So I think from what I covered, maybe you got a glimpse of what was happening over the last 3 decades. And 3 decades is not a big time in human lifetime. But of course, as far as IT is concerned, it is a long time because we saw a lot of developments. And today's development, maybe 10 years ago, whatever we see today was not imaginable.
Yes.
Maybe somebody was making a joke that
Yeah.
he never thought that he could go to a bank wearing a mask. So that happened very recently, maybe. As 1 year ago, if we were wearing a mask and going to a bank,
Yeah.
we would have been in jail. Okay.
Correct.
So that is the shift of what is happening. It's a simple thing. So that's the life. So but coming to IT, maybe over the 3 years is not a. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. Now, why I told this, because we cannot imagine what is going to happen tomorrow in our life, and IT is not an exception. So in IT also, new technologies are coming. The killer technologies. So once WhatsApp has come, or once mobile phone came, how the STD booths were disappearing. Or when the computer data entry centers were open, the typewriters were disappearing. So these kind of killer technologies can come. So what I mean to say is, we cannot be prepared in advance for an IT development. So only when the development come and embrace us, we can shift accordingly. So we need to have different legislation. There should be legal support. There should be contractual systems. There should be enforcement systems. There should be protection. There should be awareness. So above all, it is the awareness that has to happen. First of all, if we have to protect ourselves, we should be aware of what is happening. We should be aware of the loopholes. We should be aware of the potholes. So then only we can protect ourselves. So first of all is the awareness. Secondly, maybe everybody is not aware. That is a second issue. Some are maybe digitally savvy, some are not. So there is a digital divide, we have to accept that. Once, because of the recent issues, the schools could not operate. Education has gone online. So we know how much people could participate in it, how much students could participate in it. And at some sector, the students are not even able to attend the classes, even online, because they don't have the facility. If they have the facility, there is no network. If there is network, there is no proper connectivity. So there could be so many reasons. We have time, but we are not able to attend to these issues because of there is a lack of support. That's a lack of environment, lack of infrastructure. These are to be addressed. Now, as I told, there is more than the agreements. So it is an agreement. Why there is an agreement? Because if something goes wrong, we are protected. The same thing we can consider. Suppose someone break into our house tomorrow. We can take whatever is available in our house. Okay. What is the protection? But we can, if we are aware, suppose there is something pricey in our house, we will keep it in a protected environment. Maybe we will lock our house, we will lock our vehicle, or we will chain our bike. Something. These are kind of protective mechanisms. They do protect. But maybe someone can break into, even after we ensure that there is a protected system. It is possible that someone from outside break into the system. Maybe they can break open our house. Maybe they can break open our vehicle. So then what will happen? Then there is a legal remedy. Or there is an enforcement remedy. We can go to the police and complain it. Or we can go to the court and make a case. So these are the solutions. The same is applicable in IT also, or in digital world also. Once we have a communication, or we have a breach of issue, or once we are maybe someone siphons our money, or someone siphons our data, the possibility is to either be aware of this and refrain from providing data. Suppose we go to a social website, we need not provide all our data. Why should we provide all the data? we should provide only the limited information. Maybe our name or a nickname, even a nickname can be. But nickname may not be identifiable to all people. They may not be knowing us by our nickname. So we have to give the name. But why should we give our date of birth? Why should we give our card details? Why should we give our account details or mobile details? So these kind of information we have to protect. At some places we may have to give. Maybe for a birth certificate registration, we have to give authentic information. But just to open a social media account, it is not required. So we can limit our information, limit the information which we provide to the open world. That's the first thing. So that is a defensive step. Secondly, we should ensure that the place we go or the website we visit or the application we download is a genuine one. So there are mechanisms for that. How can we ensure that what we downloaded is a genuine one? So we have to go to the maybe to the website or to the third party where we can ensure the genuineness. So these kind of protections we can take. Now the third thing is the legal support that has to be put by the enforcement and the government. So maybe the data protection law has to be there. If data is stolen, what will be the remedy? What is the compensation? These kind of issues. Or what is the practice? Or what is the protocol for sharing data? So these have to be addressed in a legal document or in an act or law. That hopefully the government is doing or the government will do more on that side.
Yeah, sir. That was good enough, informative. Somebody was putting in the comment like encryption techniques are available before storing data in cloud. That is true, but still hacking happens again. Yeah. And sir, one thing like you being a registrar for CDIT, we know the activities CDIT involved in the current pandemic COVID-19 time. Can you just brief what are the initiatives like from the CDIT side towards the government? Just you being there, I was curious to know that.
Okay, like CDIT is an organization, basically it's a media communication and IT enabled service sector. So in the pandemic time, basically everybody was keeping quiet and staying back in our houses. But we had got some mandate from the government because in pandemic time, most of the systems went online. That is one thing, including payments, purchases. That you may be aware of that. But other than that, there are a lot of services like government services. It went online, on web-based or through online applications. So that was an opportunity where online systems we could provide, develop and provide. So we were working round the clock, even time without sleep at all. Because so many departments approached us to provide solutions. Was the awareness part of it, that communication part of it. It was media communication and Facebook, through Facebook media, streaming media, like the programs of the CM and ministers were to be communicated to the people. Particularly using the social media, because people were more dependent on the social media this time. And remedies, what kind of remedies to be taken, then brochures, pamphlets. So all these were happening online, not offline. That is the most interesting. Second was as we were covering the data related to health. So the data related to health was entriched to CDIT for storage in the cloud. You may be knowing that the deliberations happened. And CDIT provided a solution also where the health workers could go to the houses and they could register the details online. There was a mobile app developed for that. There was a dashboard developed for that, which contained all the information regarding patients or healthcare or facilities provided, etc. And then maybe the inaugurations, communications, etc. were mostly through VCs, video conferences. So that was another area we were providing support. And there was a war room set in the secretariat to monitor this, and the war room technology for assistance was provided by CBT. So these were in brief, some of the activities we had taken at that time.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for that information.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in the chat box, one more question by Sunanda Rajagopal. If we found our digital data being stolen, where we could go for solution or what remedies we can do?
Okay, this is very much like you may be aware of software piracy, copyright matters. So these are another area where which is coming up actively. So just it is very much like any other property. So digital data is a property. It is a property of individual, and individual have the right to own data, their own data. So once we store data, we have solutions by where we can address the issues. Maybe this is basically for enforcement and cyber crime cell. The police have a cyber crime cell we can report. But before that, we should have some copyright on that, or we should be having something to identify that it is our data. So how can we put that? So we can maybe password protect, or we can encrypt it, or we can put some symbol specifying that it is our own data. It's just like a copyright symbol on a book. Suppose you have an audio, or you have a video, or you have a PDF or a book or an e-book, electronic book. So you should be having a signature on that, first of all. How to put a signature? Because you can have a digital signature. There are so many solutions which help you putting a digital signature. So there are different technologies for that. Okay, I think that I am not going to detail into that. Once we put, there should, what I am telling, we should be able to put something in it that we can identify that it is our data. Once it is there, we can challenge. Okay, we can go to even a court and we can challenge it.
Thank you, sir.
Towards the end, if the discussion is over, I will come to the career opportunities. And before that, someone was mentioning about the encryption techniques. Okay. Now the encryption, there are different levels of encryption. Maybe, for example, say when we were in schools, maybe we are using some codes to communicate some messages to friends. Okay, that's also part of encryption. But that may be a basic encryption. Once we go to the technology side, there are so many algorithms. There are very complex algorithms which help us to put an encryption. But there is no limitation to put an encryption. There is no limitation. But legally, the encryption, the legally valid encryption is that which can be broken by the law enforcement agencies. So if you are using an encryption that cannot be broken by law enforcement agencies, that is not accepted. So you know where we are. So we can use only an encryption which the law enforcement agency can open. Okay. So that is legally. It's legally.
Sir, that I was talking about when keeping data on cloud. Hello.
Hello. Yes. Yes.
I just mentioned because I did this project during my PG sessions, data encryption and keeping files in cloud. At the server side itself, we are encrypting data, and while we are accessing the data, we can decrypt from the server side and provide this data files. That
Yes.
for safety in this cloud infrastructure.
Yes. Yes. That is very much. But I was just mentioning that what I mentioned was that whatever encryption technique we use, that is available to the law enforcement agencies.
Yeah.
Or that means it is available to someone else also.
This was just for if we are using in an organization and all, for our file safety and all, we can keep this
Yes.
file encrypted
Oh, yes. Yes.
at the server side itself.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. So, shall we move on to the next? Sir. Sir, I think the questions are
Okay.
covered, so we can.
Okay. Okay. Now is it again back to presentation? Is it doable? Hello.
No, sir. Not share.
I'm sure. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Yes. So these are various career options in IT and IT-enabled sector. So some of them we may be very well knowing that. One is the data entry operator. Okay. Okay. That and call center executives. So this is not basically for this. They don't need any maybe formal education in IT. It's a support activity, data entry and call center support. Only thing they should be able to know how to operate a computer. Okay. The second one is the data processing assistant. So once the data entry is done, the data has to be processed. So in organizations which may be using data processing software, data processing systems, this post career opportunities there. So again, there can be data processing, maybe supervisor or that thing. So in government systems, these were some of the employment opportunities, because even the government is still following the data processing concept. Some organizations. Then there is a software developer or programmer that you are aware. But only thing, there are different the languages and different platforms. So they starting from basically the COBOL or Fortran kind of calculations to the C, C++ or object-oriented kind of programming, Java technologies, HTML, so Python. So these are the various streams in programming. And recently, you have with the web, you have the HTML, PHP combination still in demand. The Java is in high demand because people are short. Java programmers are very short. They are high on demand now. Okay. Then the Python is again getting interest because of the AI and data analysis aspect of it. Python is basically supporting that. Maybe if you are into data analyst or into artificial intelligence or robotics kind of thing, Python, knowledge of Python will be an added advantage. Coming to a web developer, again, that PHP and the Java, both Java, JavaScript, Java tools are there. So that is again in high demand. PHP is common, most popular one. Java is the most better, secure one. Compared to that, Java is considered secure technology. And mobile app developers, that is another area where Android or iOS developers. So it's high in demand. Web GUI designer. Basically, web GUI designers are creative developers. So they should have, if you maybe someone with a creative orientation, they want to become developers. So it is a good choice. And this is again, there is a high demand of creative. That could be web designer. GUI stands for graphic user interface designer, and UX UI designer for user interface. That is again a new field that has come up, user interface design. There, the concern is that designing the websites or documents or brochures or whatever based on the convenience of the users. You have to see what will be the user's interest. Easy navigation, easy usability. So that is the interest. And recently there is a rating for that. In the European countries and the US, there is a user quality assessment of each website or each software solution. So that suppose the government or an organization, they put a site or a social media page. So there an audit is conducted. So user interface or user experience, experience audit is conducted, and a rating is given. And if the rating is higher, that means it is that the application is good compared to the less rated. So that is another field of operation. So this user rating audit, user interface, or user convenience audit. That's another field. But game developers and AR, VR market. That's also a very recent field where games, that is old games are there, but this is a particular new field. AR, VR, MR is also called XR. The AR, VR, MR is also called XR. The augmented reality, virtual reality, or mixed reality. So this is very high demand in these days. Maybe some of you have seen in news, television news, the concept how they bring this augmented reality into newsrooms. So you see whatever happening in the newsroom only, maybe war or some incident happening just behind or just in front of the newsreader. So that is an effect of augmented reality. Similarly, there is virtual reality. Maybe that can be used for training or maybe in high security areas or in maybe flight simulation, pilotless vehicles, etc. So these are programmers. And this kind of programmers, that again, there are two types. One is the media specialist. They should be able to mix up videos or audio along with this. And the other one is programmers. Of course, these programmers are mixing these different media to make it a game or AR/VR system. Then the other one is software quality assurance and testing professionals. So they are programmers, but programmers with a testing interest in testing. Testing is basically finding the hidden faults in the software, in the source code. So if you are good at fault finding, that's a good job for. And the quality assurance, so testing both. So you have to go through, there are certifications for that. And if you are a programmer with at least 1 year experience, you can go for the certification. And it is again a highly paid job, more than programmer. They get more than programmer. But for some it may feel like a very boring also. Okay. Now the analyst programmer is again after so much years of programming experience, you become the next step so that you have the better vision on a system. You can develop a system, you can design a system. So you go for one step further and you become an analyst programmer who does the analysis and as well as do the program. The system analyst is the ultimate. You are an experienced programmer, and the system analyst means you can analyze the enterprise systems and you can code it into a software solution or information system solution, and you can hand it over to a programmer. The programmer will develop the system accordingly. So that's a system analyst. Similarly, there is a business analyst, because in today's day, today most of the programs cannot be analyzed by the system analyst itself. Some are too much related to the business. The business, their business algorithm or business domain. So they need to have much more business information or business knowledge than the system, IT system knowledge. So they are called business analysts. So basically the system analyst and business analyst has to work together. Then there is a database administrator that maybe you may be aware of that. And today, as I told, that database administrator, basically it was conventional RDBMS and SQL. Today, it has gone to NoSQL and unstructured databases. And then medical legal transcription. So that also you may be aware of that. It's basically transforming the documents into digital form. So it could be in a typewritten form or it could be in audio form. So both are there. So that is selected for fields like a medical field or in legal field, that kind of thing. Computer hardware and network engineer is the another option, where a hardware engineer basically prescribe the specifications, maintains it, supports it, installs it or supports it. Similarly, network engineer supports the local networks or wide area networks, the firewalls. He puts the firewalls in place, the firewall restrictions control, this kind of activities. And security, of course, network security is also concerned. Then computer network, a mix of LAN, WAN, MAN, or now there are even lesser number of Bluetooth or infrared, this kind of networks, Wi-Fi networks are also in place, where the security concern will be more because it is an open air systems. So these network architects prescribes the required networking solutions, network security solutions. Information system managers are again maybe the total information. They manage the entire information system of an organization, enterprise. Similarly, there could be information security manager or information safety manager or security managers also. Then IT project manager, as is concerned for a particular projects. So they will have to have a project management experience also. That he should be good at administration or documentation skills or negotiation skills are also expected, like vendor management or client management, negotiations, bidding, this kind of experiences. An information security analyst or manager or auditor. So now it's a statutory requirement that information a security audit must be conducted in organizations of financial importance like banks. So there should be information security auditors. So that can be if you are into finance or financial accounting, or if you are interested in audit kind of point of view. And you also have the information, IT information, IT profession, IT education. That would be a good profession for them. Then information research scientists. So basically scientists, they are dealing with the data on particular areas. And if you are into MPhil or that kind of PhD kind of candidate, you can go for information research science, or even a marketing orientation, with the orientation of say, marketing. Then AI programmers and data scientists. So that is related to artificial intelligence, robotics, data science. So there could be programmers, there could be data scientists, there could be data analysts, these kind of categories. Now, language computing experts, they are again expected to be in high demand because recently, worldwide the software computing, we had been using English as the standard language. But now the technology is coming to vernacular language because people are sitting on websites on their own languages. Maybe each state may be having their own language, each country may be having their own language. So there is a translation work involved, of course, and more than translation, this involves in speech to text recognition. So that requires some kind of artificial intelligence. Once we get a speech, that can be converted into text. Or once we get a text, that has to be converted into speech. This kind of translation is required in large scale. So there are some common languages like English where this kind of translation is possible. But in the case of other languages like Indian languages or this kind of languages where this technology is there, but the resources are not available. Resources in a sense, for this there is something called, they need a data repository. For example, English and Malayalam. Suppose you have, say, three, maybe 10 lakh of English words or English sentences with the Malayalam translation, or 10 lakh of Malayalam sentences with English translation. So this is called a corpus. So corpus creation is not taking place at the moment in Indian languages. It is there in English, but in Indian languages, so this corpus creation is a big activity. So, but this corpus as such is not useful unless we develop some solution for this language computing, like translation. So this go hand in hand. And the next one is the digital marketing specialist. So digital marketing is the bigger wave now, because these social media websites and these kind of solutions can be widely used for marketing and addressing the individual need of the users. So all kind of marketing is being done now. Even organizations have started WhatsApp-based services. For example, you can do booking your gas through your WhatsApp account, or you can register for a program using your WhatsApp account. So this kind of even payment also happening as part of it. So this is the digital marketing specialist. It's a highly paid job now. So that if you are an aspirant in that area, it is very good opportunity. Now, social media communication is similarly like website and this media communication. Social media communication is another big area where they are concentrating. So these are in general, these are some of the career opportunities. Is going for specialization. Earlier it was possible. Without a specialization, with a basic course in IT, it was possible to get a job. And now in government sector, the jobs are becoming less because of the there is a lag because the government is not adapting technology as and when it is available. So it is there is a lagging by 5 years or 10 years. So what they do, the private organizations or private entities are getting prepared for these jobs and getting into the field. Or it could be a private-public partnership. It's a joint venture by government and private. So this is the mode in which technology projects are happening today. The other conventional thing like data entry, programming, this kind of vacancies are still there in the government, database or network kind of thing. But if you want to go to newer technologies, the opportunities now may not be there in the government, but it may come in future. So by that time, you can keep it ready and keep. So for that, I would like to suggest some special courses, special engagement in the respective area where you are interested. So I think that will call for the day.
Anyone have any query? Sir, in the chat box, we have one query. Any suggestion on add-on courses to get job in government sector?
Yeah, as I told, say government sector, they are still following the conventional IT activities or IT works only. So maybe, again, it depends. Suppose you want to become a programmer. So you have to get into the particular stream. As I told you, can become a PHP programmer, you can become a web programmer, or a Java programmer, or a or a UX programmer. So these are all opportunities. And say UX may not be there in government now, but it may come. It will come in future because nobody can escape from these requirements. So opportunity will come in future. But if you look at the government right now, the requirements of data processing, programming, hardware support, networking, networking and security. These are the opportunities rightly seen in the government advertisement. Okay, CDT is also having an academic stream where we have two streams. One is the IT stream, IT education. Second one is the media communication education. And in IT education, it is basically providing course through the CDT education partners. Around 300 CEPs are there across the state. And the CDT is organizing the course, but the course is conducted by the CEPs. The syllabus, the examination and certification is given by CDT. Diploma and certificate courses, PG diploma courses, etc. So the next stream is the media communication courses, which is conducted by or we have some off-campus centers across the state. So that is communication like video editing, this cinematography, video, camera, photography, these kind of courses. That's communication related. So these courses are conducted directly. And maybe the ICT Academy, if you are interested with more courses, if you are trying to enrich your expertise, you can visit the ICT Academy website. It's ICT Academy is established by the government of Kerala. They are conducting short-term courses and the certificate courses on various subjects like this, deep learning, artificial intelligence, data analysis, which will be definitely beneficial to you. And it's short-term courses also.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome Mrs. Faimina BS, Assistant Professor and IQSC Coordinator, Sri Sabarisha College, to deliver vote of thanks.
Very warm good afternoon to all. I, Femina BS, the coordinator of Computer Association, BCI Department, Sri Shabarisha College, hereby feels privileged in organizing and attending the webinar on walking around data stores. First of all, I would like to thank our beloved chief speaker, Jaydev Anand, who had spent his valuable time and a great effort in interacting and communicating with us. On his first session, he discussed about various data stores which we were using for the past 3 decades. And on the later session, he had discussed about various job opportunities and job roles in detail, which are available in the government and non-government IT sector. This was an informative and a great session for our students, sir. Thank you very much. And now let me thank our beloved principal, VG Harish Kumar sir, our beloved HOD, Mrs. Anitha Krishna ji, the remaining faculties of our department, our students, students from other colleges, faculties from other colleges, research scholars, and IT professionals for attending and engaging your valuable time with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So now we are winding up our session, and e-certificate will be provided within 1 week after collecting the feedback form. Thank you for spending time with us. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.